Welcome to the Texas Go Radio Show. This is part 7 of the 1968 live stream by Owen Benjamin. Sorry for the quick cutaway last time. Kind of got interrupted. That's all good.
But none of them have crossed my moral boundaries. I'm still allowed to raise my own kid. I see the value of it. I'm like, good, I'm glad the system exists. If we all consent to these laws, everything will flow better. Even some laws I don't like as much as others. But none of them have crossed my moral boundaries. I'm still allowed to raise my own kids. I'm not legally mandated to have vaccines. But I don't have to go to a war. I'm fine, right? But that's my consent. If you don't consent, it's just a guy telling you something. You know, and then they say, oh, but they'll kick in your door. That's another guy consenting. It's just everyone is consenting. When people say, oh, the Holodomor, when 9 Jews killed 60 million Christians, How does this...
So according to his logic right here, correct me if I'm wrong, if you allow something to happen because you just could not physically stop it, then it's consent. Am I wrong in saying that? That's what it sounds like to me. Just like his argument with it, the children have to consent because it happened. In some way or another. People can do stuff to you and get away with it without your consent.
All amount of people murder 60 million people without consent, dependence. Like, oh, they just... I'm like, you can't.
It's by force. I really do honestly think one of the reasons why he holds on to this is so that he can be without blame. That he can karmatically be clean or cleansed from it. The same way that he talks about Hollywood telling you exactly what they're doing in a roundabout way. It's one of the reasons why this whole conversation sounds so confusing. You would expect somebody with a 147 IQ to be able to articulate their thoughts on such a complex subject, even though this is not a complex subject. Children can't consent. End of story. If that happens, that's a bad thing. They simply cannot. And earlier he said, they do even though they can't. Does not make any sense.
Were the Jews a giant army that killed everyone? Oh no, they got an army to do it. They don't fight in wars, they're Jews. They're disgusting. They're not men. There's only 9 of them. Okay, so who killed the Ukrainians? Oh, just guys. So they consented. Yeah. So why did they starve? Well, you know, they were in a ton of debt and they turned on the landowners. You understand? It can be tragic. I'm not saying it's not a tragedy, but like, okay, so if men come to your door to hurt you, they're consenting to that. You can't blame that on George Soros. He's making an offer. People can... This is why taking personal accountability is so fucking important. Because
coming from a guy who takes no accountability whatsoever. Even with the G away. Whenever he offends his own laws with that or whatever, his own guidance, he makes Connington pay it away. Whenever he trimmed too many limbs off the tree the other day, he blamed his wife. Whenever he blows up because he cannot control his emotions, oh, I didn't eat this morning, or I watched a show last night, I'm kind of antsy this morning. The last time that I think that he actually took accountability, which even then he didn't take accountability. He said that the jobs dried up, and then he left, and then he became a perpetual victim.
Every step of the way, someone's consenting, and you can't blame the other level. Like, one of my friends was the only cop to accept being fired for for refusing to wear a mask. And he's the one who does the firearm stuff. He's the one who works at that epic company now. He's a legend. Everyone else consented. He didn't. They didn't kill him.
Okay, so if a drug cartel shows up in your town, right? Let's go Hollywood movie with this. A drug cartel shows up in your hometown and they forcibly make teens go around being their strong arm by saying, hey, you're either going to work for me or we're going to kill your entire family. So if they want to save their family, they're consenting to that, I would assume, by this logic. And so according to his logic, you would kill the teens and not the people making the teens do that. That doesn't make any sense.
He couldn't have that job anymore. He got a better job. That's it. But the amount of people that consent to their own horror is like everybody, you know? Oh, the innocent, you know, the people that enforce it, they're all so innocent. It's that damn Jew with this money printing machine. It's all consent. You can't, George Bush never shot a single person. He tricked us. Well, I mean, I believe that they have to totally tell you straight up. Like that's part of the whole divine structure of how the world works. I don't think that
That's what I'm talking about. He believes that they have to tell you straight up. And what does he tell you? I mean, I'll admit that it's very convoluted, but he clearly tells you. I can't really use the word convoluted than clearly, right? Not too logical. In a roundabout way, he tells you exactly who he is, especially through the Milker Nation documentary whenever he's doing the investment scam. He shows you who he is. He flat out tells you, if you come to me and you ask me for your money back, I'm going to block you. And then he also says, oh, I feel really like I'm almost jealous of you guys because all you have to do is give me money and I have to do all the legal stuff. And then he also said that he agreed with Bernie Madoff. I believe it's Bernie Madoff with the Ponzi scheme. Whenever he said that he blamed his victims for being stupid enough to fall in his trap, for being gullible.
anyone is allowed on a big scale to not.
He tells you Hollywood is evil, and then he tells you he's Hollywood.
Not tell you what's happening, like to not straight up, like if you do minimal research, divine structure of how the world works, I don't think that anyone is allowed on a big scale to not tell you what's happening, like to not straight up, like if you do minimal research, understand what's happening.
And that's pretty much exactly how he is. If you do minimal research on Owen, you know that he's a lying, conniving, fear porn pushing, manipulative, predatorial cult leader. There's clips out there of him saying that he is a cult leader, where he wants to be a king with his castle, he wants to live in a castle with his lieutenants and rule the land. He owns all of the land. Give me money. You get nothing. He tells you who he is, and it takes minimal research to look that up.
You know, that's just how I see it, because you always are contracting other people to do evil for money, evil for money, evil for money. And then when a lot of people are stuck holding the bag and the debt and they don't know what's happening, and then they go, oh, that guy, well, you did it. You know, did you have to?
And he's just now saying evil for money, and he's flat out told. He's flat out told everyone, I'm a dancing money. Give me gold, and I'll do whatever you want. They gave me gold, guys. Is exactly what he said. Whenever he said somebody said that they were tired of him talking about Christianity as much as he was, he said they gave me gold.
Go on 3 fucking cruises? Did you have to sell your house to BlackRock so you can get a dick surgery? Like, you don't think that cursed your family more than a Rothschild, you know? All right, well, that's enough of that. The Holodomor involved lots of alcohol and indebtedness, Jews making offers. Yes, it's all sin collection. It's like, how do you break a people? You know, addiction, pornography, subversion, self-hatred, all that shit.
The first thing he said was addiction. I think one of the techniques that he uses as a cult leader is he does live streams every single day, for the most part, 3 hours, 2 hours, 8 hours, multiple platforms, puts himself out there as much as possible, pretends as though he's vulnerable, so you feel bad for him, or you feel as though you have some kind of a connection. But there's a reason why you have bear names. He doesn't know your real name. There's a clip out there of him talking about a Bronze Star bear. Bronze Star, it's ironic that I'm remembering this, because earlier he told you, if I start acting like that, call me out on it. Well, Bronze Star, this was years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, called him out saying that he was spiraling. I think that's how that went down. And he said, I don't even know your name. I don't know you, Bronze Star Bear. He knew that he was a veteran, so he just said, oh, you're just a child killer.
That's all consent-based. That's all consent-based. And then you get them vulnerable. Don't get me wrong, it's tragic, but it's like vulnerable, dependent, their head's full of lies, they're speaking false, they have pride in the wrong things, they're blaming the wrong people, they rejected their own families, they think, God is a fairy tale, they think that, we played golf on the fucking moon and everything's relative, right? Like, you get people in that state, they do it to themselves. I believe the secret society's effort to not usurp free will, I don't think they're allowed to. Just like this goes like this. Oh shit, sorry. Just like there's rules in this realm, I don't think anyone's allowed to take your free will. Like, I think Soros, Rothschilds, all those people, they don't think they're allowed to. Just like this goes like this. Oh shit, sorry. Just like there's rules in this realm, I don't think anyone's allowed to take your free will. Like, I think Soros not usurp free will. I don't think they're allowed to. Just like this goes like this. Oh shit, sorry. Just like there's rules in this realm, I don't think anyone's allowed to take your free will. Like, I think Soros,
I'm not catching what he's saying right there.
Rothschilds, all those people, they serve a function. They manage like people that want to act like animals. And honestly, I appreciate it. Like, there's a lot of people that don't want to take any accountability. Like that guy I was just talking to. I'm glad George Soros can manage him. I'm glad that we have the Rothschilds to control his behavior in his fucking Gotham. Gotham means goat pen, right? Gotham City, goat pen city. Because
this rhetoric is, in my opinion, extremely dangerous. I think that one of the reasons why he says that I'm glad that George Soros and the Rothschilds and those types of people exist is because he wants to be one of them. That's why he is obviously a liar. He just condemned earlier in this live stream people that want to be king, and he wants to be king. He is king. He named himself King of Beartaria.
I don't want to deal with that guy. That guy doesn't choose free will. He doesn't choose accountability. He's a menace, right? Good. Control them. And they choose it. And if you choose not to be controlled by them, you have to take accountability. You have to do the gum jabar, where you suffer temporarily for your morality, for your long-term goals, for doing the right thing, for honor. And then you are free of them. And I'm explaining this to people. They're like, oh, but you're unhinged. I am. I'm kind of unhinged. And I still honor the system and use it, and I'm not against it. I'm not against the Federal Reserve, guys. They're providing a service. Any moment of any day, we could all just start using silver to trade. Trade is huge. Like right now, I got a dude staining my wood that I traded like a piece of equipment for. I know people that trade labor for like all kinds of shit. I know a guy who traded labor for his braces.
This is the same guy that during the land scam of 2020, he clearly said at the beginning, if you can't give money but you have skills and tools, then we'll accept that. And then people didn't give him money, and they wanted to give him skills and the ability to use their tools. And his reaction was, you're a liar. If you're telling me that you can afford to drive 500 miles up here to help us build this, but you can't afford to give us money, you're a liar. That is the type of person Owen Benjamin is.
He's got adult braces, and he traded labor to a dentist. That's totally legal, by the way. You only have to pay tax on it when you cash out. Like if you're like, you can trade and barter all day long without income. But once you like turn it into income, then you got to pay the piper. But you absolutely could currently function without any connection whatsoever to the Federal Reserve. And if you have productive land, then people say property tax, which I'm not into, but it's obviously permitted because of our behavior for some reason. But if you have productive land,
And how he just said that, but it's obviously permitted because of our own behavior. So he feels as though no matter what happens to you, it's permitted because you deserve it to happen to you. Which is extremely dangerous whenever you take into consideration what he was saying earlier about children.
my acres that are for grazing or orchards or garden, I pay like $40 per acre per year. Right? Like it again, there's always remedy. My property taxes kind of suck because of my house. But productive land, there's like almost no property tax. Like there's always a way to do it. So most of these people that are so angry, they've never even looked into farming. Because why would they? Their fiat currency can buy all the food in the world. Why would they even think about having their own orchard?
Does he have his own orchard? How's his farm doing right now? As a homesteading live streamer, he doesn't really show anything about that.
You know, Saudi Arabia will pump them with oil.
And you would think somebody that's been doing it for, what did he say, 6 years? He would be pretty well adjusted to doing it, pretty knowledgeable of it, and would have some really valuable skills to be able to teach other people. But he doesn't seem to. He just seems to hop on his computer and talk about nonsense for a couple of hours and then cry that people aren't giving him enough money, while saying some very off the wall and questionable things.
Oh, and they can get everything from China and fuck it. And then they just bitch for the service. It's like, nah, dude, if you start an orchard, your taxes go to like nothing. You can look into all this shit. This isn't like sovereign citizen shit. It's not even hidden. It's right there. They're like, smart. The IRS is like, good move. We got a kitchen renovation for 2 of my wife's paintings. Barter is
And the tax law is not written to where just normal citizens can understand it. And from what I understand, it's due to lobbying from companies like H&R Block and stuff like that.
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. I trade my labor for 500 plus Asian pear trees. That's the move, Precision Barber. Community is strength, guys. Community is wealth. I've been saying the same shit for a reason.
And there we go. Excuse me. Community is wealth. Not just any community. He's talking about his community. That message is directly aimed towards his cult. Our community is wealth. And what he means is, our community is my wealth. Give me money, expect nothing, be happy with the very little that you get, if you get anything at all.
You know, if you want to get off the tit of the things you think are evil, if you're a truther, you have to do it, and this is how you do it, right? Your community of trade and support and all that shit is like worth more than all the paper in the world. It's just right in people's faces. Oh, well, if I get an ounce of gold, it'll go up in value. It's always going to be an ounce of gold. It's just compared to dollars, right? If you change your paradigm to think silver is currency, I can pay, like I pay for some of my kids' drum lessons in silver. Sometimes I pay Woody in silver, right? Because I think of it as money. I'm trying to like slowly bring people into that thought of like, it's not about what it's worth. If you teach my kids drums for like an hour, I'll give you 2 ounces of silver. I don't think, well, today it's $40, tomorrow it's $90. I just think silver. And that's a currency outside the Federal Reserve. And it's super simple. And if people don't consent to accept it, that's their choice. That's them not wanting to consent to that system. But it's not illegal to use silver as money. Not only is it not illegal in the Constitution, it's labeled as money, silver and gold. All right, let's read some mail and then call it a day. The chat seems a little slow today. I hope that everyone isn't turning on me because of Coddington's behavior. I do want to get some more fruit trees. I'm spending all my money right now on fruit trees.
Yeah, it's got to be Coddington and not just the incoherent rant that he just went on about children giving consent even though they can't give consent.
Oh my God. That's one reason why I've been pissed at the P.O. Box lack of enthusiasm, because I got my eye on a couple more trees and they do get a little pricey. I'd like to know gold price for a dairy cow for the last 4,000 years. I bet it hasn't moved much, Dan. Dear Big Bear, happy late birthday. I always put off writing because it takes a week for my letters to reach you, and I worry my words will be irrelevant. Good job staying cool with Jim Good, clowning himself. He said almost word for word things my dad would say if we were fighting. My live-in mother-in-law can be a huge boomer when it comes to money. Says she's broke but drops a $10K down payment on a new car because the dealer couldn't fix her other car fast enough. Says she's having trouble with the payments but buys a new guitar. She has 10. She helps watch the kids, and I charge her nothing to stay with us. She bailed on my wife as a kid, so I call this her redemption arc. I'm a big fan of those, and in one myself right now. Oh yeah, I'm all about redemption arcs too. Totally. I don't hold grudges if people genuinely.
Speaking about redemption arc, this has been like about a year journey for me. About a year ago, I was like, I wonder what Owen Benjamin's up to, and then went down the rabbit hole of the investment scam of 2020. And that's whenever my opinion of him changed horrendously. But even so, going through that whole thing, like looking through it, there was multiple times where I was like, I wonder if there can be a redemption arc for him. I'm not going to completely write it off. I think that there's always hope for somebody, even at the very end. Sometimes the redemption isn't as hopeful as you think it may be. I don't know if you kind of catch my drift with that. That selfless act at the end type of thing. But, yeah, I don't know if that made any sense, but.
Like, genuinely make amends. It's funny, like, sometimes I might appear like the most spiteful, shit-talking little asshole on the internet. And I, honest to God, don't emotionally get mad about anybody. The last one was Jim Bob. I did actually get emotionally angry at him. And that was probably why I didn't handle myself the best in certain times, but I'm not mad. I'm like, dude, turn it around. We'll be boys.
He gets emotionally distraught almost every time that he doesn't get as much money as he thinks that he deserves. Every time.
I'm still trying to sub to unauthorized, but I think I might be too dumb to get it. I'll keep trying. In the meantime, here's some money to help cure my gay. Regards, Bobby Donbear. What do you call a fan of Jim Good? Nuts. That was a good one. No, man, you guys that always are afraid to write letters because it's not going to be as like funny or relevant. Always have the best fucking letters. Like that letter was awesome. Doesn't remember his name. Yeah, like now I feel nothing, but there was a time that I did. All right, so now we have a what is it? A monster polar bear. Okay. And then a question. Let me read this real quick about the book. Owen, my dad was reading a biography of J.R.R. Tolkien and mentioned that he wrote this short story. Obviously, when I saw the title, there was nothing left to do but send you a copy. Tolkien has to be one of the most based writers ever. Yeah, Niggles. Niggle was a painter. With this book and The White Shire, what a legend. Hope you enjoy it. Question asking bear. Yeah, and the dwarves are obviously the grabblers. You know, it's like, yeah, Tolkien is amazing. You want to see the Shire real quick? Don't get me wrong. I love the whites. Like when I was talking about the white IQ thing and how stupid that is, it's not that I'm not into the Shire. It's just like you can't claim a race to be an answer. Like you can't be like, if everyone's white and smart, that fixes everything. It obviously doesn't. Some of the best people, I hate to say this, I really do. Some of the best people I know are blacks. I mean, not really, but you know what I'm saying. All right, here we go. This is how base Tolkien was.
See the doublespeak. He says everything so that all bases are covered, and you actually have to just zoom out and see what actually makes sense, because that's why a lot of it doesn't make any sense. His old rant earlier didn't really make any sense, but if you zoom out, pay attention to things that he has said whenever he wasn't joking, it all kind of lines up in a very disturbing way.
The Shire was full of simple white folk, not a Jew or Negro.
You know, like I'm not seeing any wins in your future. All right, here we go. Kyneton, do we have any super chats? I am starting to get alarmed. I'm just kidding, by the way. But I'm mad. I don't know, maybe it's the time of the year. I'll figure it out. I'll get to the bottom of it. Why the fuck are people not super chatting as much as they used to? One rock to remind us all. Oh, here's a super chat. Nice. Reed Bear. Fruit tree super chat. That's very generous. Yeah, thank you. I will literally use that to buy a fruit tree. I bought literally 12 fruit trees this year, at least.
He says that he doesn't get emotionally angry or whatever, distraught, but then clearly that's him putting pressure on his cult to give him money.
You know, I'm going a little nuts with the fruit trees, but I just like having an orchard, and the farm stand is crushing to the point where I think doing that day in the life thing I did was like inadvertently advertising my eggs, and I don't have the production capable. Like we're now running out of eggs like by 9 in the morning. So thanks to all the people that are buying the eggs, but I don't have that many eggs. But how great would it be if you're driving by my house and you can buy a bushel of apples? Right? How's that sound, everybody? That sounds good. And that's one of my many dreams. It's just that. Like, you just have fruit growing everywhere. You put them in a basket. You put a price on it. You put it at the farm.
So this is an interesting business model. You give him money so that he can buy something that he can sell back to you.
Stand, and then you collect. And then you use
Just like the land. You give him money so that he can buy land, and that way you can buy tickets to that land.
money to punish Coddington. Owen, it's me. Owen, from another timeline, bro. In my timeline, on November 1st, 2017, you went on Joe Rogan. Trash piece from an entire...
I think this is the Polar Bear one, and I'm not reading it. I'm not going to listen to it.
His merch store. I can all 2020. That a niggle. Ray Gun. The right... The star...
There's literally no point. It's just
underage girls
cult propaganda.
Doing life in government can't keep
Notice it's the only one that can be longer than a paragraph or two or a page.
us down. Born to John Garrison. And this with some fag wearing a tie-dyed shirt. What kind of queer makes up and thinks to himself, today I'm going to dress like a fairy, says Jonah Bear. Valid. I'm not even going to argue the tie-dye shirt. I have grown to like it, though. Yeah, I mean, you bring up points, but I think you should pay more for what I've done. I think it's gay that your super chat is so small, despite being a new father with probably a lot of stresses. I'm just kidding. That's very generous. I've enjoyed your stream today. As usual, the chat was popping when you roasted Jim Chode. Not letting Jim Chode get under your skin was proof of your evolution. Looking forward to more Censor.tv Bloodsport. When are you roasting Kumia? I don't know. I mean, they originally brought it up, and I haven't heard anything. I think old Kumia might be a little afraid of a fucking bear. But I'm down, man. I'm always down. They brought it up to me, and I haven't heard a damn thing. I think Kumia has a bit of the poopy pants. But yeah, I'm down to do more blood stuff. It does get the people talking. And the solutions are great, but every now and then to do a spectacle, it is what it is. You got to meet the people where they are. Wonder Girl says, wish you were here. Thank you, Wonder Girl. I was after the song I did yesterday. And then I really appreciate your streams. They're so wholesome and do indeed relieve stress. That's my
wholesome.
My goal. And then the final super chat, CPT Fury says, great stream yesterday. The song mashup you played was great. Thank you for putting yourself out there and getting into so much gravy. Keep crushing. This money is for fruit trees. So his apple, on me. Sorry, I slept in my contacts last night and my eyes got really dry and I was wearing glasses. So that's why my vision's a little off right now. But I couldn't do the tie-dye and the glasses. Like, I thought about that. I was like, if I wear lesbo glasses and tie-dye, there will be a coup. I'm like, they can only handle one or the other. If I'm wearing Rachel Maddow lesbo glasses and a tie-dye, and I'm saying that not to blame Jews, like, you may have a point that I was, like, someone literally drugged me. Or that I had, like, someone was blackmailing me. Like, any one of them can be explained. I have bad vision. Sometimes my eyes need a break. Okay? A bear made this. It's a great shirt. And take account.
Out of all the things that he has said in this live stream, I think the most problematic is that children can give consent. Because he did undeniably say that.
The Jews really aren't causing your problems. All of those things, fine. You put them all together, and you'd have a right to do a coup de bear. Is this what you wanted, said Jonah Bear? No, Jonah, I was just kidding. You save your money. You're a new dad. Bear for all seasons. Here's a Rogan of a tip for that bowler letter. Yeah, that was just pure. I tweeted this today about how much I feel understood by my audience. I just want to be a little loving. I can be a dickhead. But I was going on the iTunes app, and Codsworth, is it still growing? It seems to be growing every day, and we're now into the thousands.
And right now, he said, I wanted to be a little loving. His idea of loving to his audience is telling his audience how much they understand him. Let that sink in.
Per episode on iTunes. That was always my goal. So thank you. It's Why Didn't They Laugh on iTunes? And so I wrote, subscribe on iTunes. I'm really fortunate to have high quality listeners that understand what I'm doing. I really appreciate it. Bowler's letter understood every aspect of my life, and it was super funny. All right. Someone said, leave your dogma at the door. If you have the self-awareness to understand not everything on the internet is about you, you'll really enjoy this podcast. He makes fun of everything, and eventually it will be something you hold dear. Like today, tie-dyes. What else did I do today? I did something else that was like libertarians.
Children giving
jazz. I literally equated jazz to being evil. All right. But it's not about you. All right. He makes fun of everything, and eventually it will be something you hold dear. Don't take it personal, and you will laugh and learn. The authenticity is refreshing. That, I feel so understood when I read stuff like that. And then someone said, he'll eventually make fun of you. Take me, for instance. I had to pay him for wearing Speedos in the past, for roller skiing, which is like basically rollerblading with Nordic ski poles, for road cycling, and finally for having no kids. But now I have two. Guys, it's just awesome. It's awesome that you guys understand the pod and we've grown as a team. Of course, Bowler can understand and communicate the shadow side. I know he's a bit of a daywalker like me, but for me, it's like Jewy shit. Like, I understand the Jewy world a little more than the average gent. And Bowler Bear has a Caucasian intellect, but understands the tribal, heart-based nature.
There's that daywalker thing again. Okay, I kind of understand what he's meaning by that, I guess.
Black man. And together, we're quite a comedy team. I mean, he has the unbridled, reckless heart of a black, with the ability to structure and carry out a theme, an equation, like a white. And he doesn't fit in anywhere properly, to the point where he had to become funny in a paradox, just like me. You know, the knowledge of the system and rhetoric and all that shit of a filthy Jew, right? I get it. I understand budgeting, liabilities, assets, all of it. I understand entertainment and rhetoric and all that shit. I fucking get the Jew world, but I have the heart of a Gentile. I just want to do what's right. I just want to say the truth. I'm not motivated by the fucking shekels. And that's why I'm funny. But I do have a deep Jew side. Just like Bowler Bear has the side of a tribal pygmy. Just only in the moment. His life is 5 seconds long and keeps resetting like a fucking goldfish, looking for a bike and a bowl of crack. But he also has a side that can fit into society, achieve great things, make a living, stay home with his family, know his father's name. And that's what makes his comedy so great. He made fun of me yesterday for drinking too much We Go Home and getting a little too energetic. Well, fuck you, Bowler Bear. I won't be judged. All right, but this super chat towards a bike for Bowler Bear so he doesn't have to steal one because his letter was hysterical. Yeah, I want to put that into the book. I think that like reads so funny. Because it's profound that my life would objectively suck if I...
He's going to put Bowler Bear's letter in his book. He doesn't write his own jokes. He's not writing his own book.
Play ball. And that really is how society is. All right. That's going to be it. You spend it like a goy too. I do Persian too. I spend it on things that don't really make me money, but I think are good. Like fruit trees. You know, I'll buy a fruit tree in about 10 minutes that costs $150. It's full size though. It skips a bunch of years. Return on investment is not great, but it's an orchard. You know, I don't have all the magic of the Jew, but I have just enough. I'm not like buying Mountain Dew and fucking Oliver Anthony CDs, but I still have the blood of like the rural Gentile. But I fucking have some Jew in me. Codsworth, are we caught up? That's it. All right. Unauthorized.tv, subscribe. We're slowly trying to rebuild to back where we were. And every subscription helps, and you get access to the entire backlog, and it's what, you know, it's a really important thing.
And just FYI, it's not the entire backlog, so that right there in itself is a provable lie. He has deleted multiple things that is contrary to the history, that the recreation of his history, the rewriting of his history that doesn't line up with the reality of how things actually went down.
You have joy, so much joy. Censored.tv. Codsworth, are we up to date there? Do you still update it every day? Did you get the Bowler Bear super chat? I did. Thank you. Cod, do you update on Censored, or is it a game of telephone over there with the gook? With the fucking gook, the little Oriental nigger named fucking Ryan Katsu. And then P.O. Box 490, Sandpoint, Idaho, 83864. Don't be afraid to be a one-time writer, a first-time writer. Even if you have nothing to say, keep it under a page, and I guarantee it's great. Your perspectives are awesome. Ryan is making me a back-end access account, not yet. Well, he's too busy making little dragons out of paper. And like over-trimming a tiny fucking tree called bonsai as he eats a banana and dances to Ricky Martin music. He's very confused. Zipperhead nigger. Yeah, he's a yellow, slanty-eyed. So thanks for showing up every day. And under this comment today, let me know what you want me to talk about tomorrow. I always like, oh no, tomorrow we're doing moon landing. It's 1969. And I hope all your lives are going well. I really do. And I appreciate everything. And yeah, subscribe on iTunes. All the audio, free, up to date.
Just a heads up, I'm not going to be covering the moon landing live stream.
You can send it around. Great for data. All right. And then Beartaria Times.events to get tickets to the festival over Labor Day weekend, which is going to be epic, God willing. All right, guys. Be fruitful and multiply. Don't forget to take out your contacts and get a sty.
I got to be honest with you. I'm impressed that he stopped saying the thing, because he knows he said it for years and people got tired of it. But this is the Texas Go Radio Show. As always, till next time.